In the time in my life, I am most proud of myself. This is what I looked like. Today, we're going to talk about the before picture. Shame and judgment of ourselves are such a barrier to our own weight loss success. We have enough pain. I came dressed for this. I think you got the butt kick inside there in you.
I'm bad. I'm going to get up and I'm going to keep going and I'm going to win this.
Welcome to the Take Names podcast. Here at Eat Like a Bear, we know how to kick butt and take names. You are going to learn the stories of all of the biggest butt kickers here at Eat Like a Bear. In fact, I have many here joining me today. You will learn many stories here. This is episode number 1. We'll be talking about the first success story here at Eat Like a Bear here in a minute. But I want to say this comes with a big warning to all of you watching this. Beware, with all the butt kickers here on camera, with all of those in our large and growing community, someone's going to get you, take your name, and you could end up right here on this podcast where we talk about the success we are achieving here at Eat Like a Bear, where we get in front of our lifelong problems with weight loss and we get out and live our most vibrant life. Today is a special day for us here in the Eat Like a Bear community because Eat Like a Bear is about to turn 5. In fact, this very week, 5 years ago, I was concerned. I was terrified about sharing my before picture. I did that 5 years ago tomorrow in a little video that I flippantly called Eat Like a Bear. The Eat Like a Bear community would not form for another 2 months, but that video was the beginning of all of it. And it started with me getting over that fear of judgment over my before picture, my picture where I weighed in at about 260 pounds. There are no existing pictures that I know of me at 280, but I shared my photo weighing 260 pounds, and it was the beginning of this amazing community that we have growing here at Eat Like a Bear. In fact, it is another special week for us because we just hit 200 century cases. So at Eat Like a Bear, our community is about, somewhere over 150,000 people, but we have thousands of weight loss success cases. We've lost, I don't know how many tons of body fat, but one of the ways we measure the success of the community is with our Century Bear Club. And you join our Century Bear Club if you've lost at least 100 pounds. And we so far have 203 people who've lost 100 pounds since finding Eat Like a Bear. And that happened on this 5th anniversary of sharing that before picture. 2017 at the total solar eclipse in Wyoming. And this is the little video clip that I shared in the Eat Like a Bear video that released on May 9th of 2018. So as just quick background for people who are new to us and finding us, there is so much you can find about what we eat here at Eat Like a Bear. What I ate to lose 140 pounds was 1 low-carb meal a day. So I'm a time-restricted eater, and that was a game-changing element for me, was eating just 1 meal, eating all of my calories, all of my nutrition in 1 giant meal. It includes a lot of the elements of, past diets that I learned, that were necessary, but I put them all together. And it just set it on fire. I lost the weight. Other people tried it. It set them on fire. And this is where we are here at Eat Like a Bear. There is a lot of information on the what to eat element here in the community on this YouTube channel. But today we're talking about that before picture. We're talking about the power of sharing your story. That can change the world. And we're doing that here with all of our individual stories. As neighbors see us, we're like walking billboards for what we do, for changing your life. And that is the spirit of this podcast, is to share the stories, to give you ideas, because honestly, nobody is going to do anything exactly like I did, and that's okay. That's okay. But how can we get ideas so that each of us can just take the nuggets and integrate them into our own lives and go be awesome? That's what we're doing here in this podcast. So again, I direct you to other resources about my story and the what to eat part of it. But today we're going to talk about the before picture, and in particular, shame as a barrier to weight loss. So my whole hesitation, of course, I don't even have to tell you guys, my hesitation with showing the before picture was, what will people say? And the judgment that comes with looking that way. And I need to say something here. Before we get too deep into this, I want to say something about my before picture. And I'm going to put another before picture here. So this was me in September of 2017, in the early weeks of 20, 2017, as I was deep in my own head, counteracting all that self-doubt, all of the fear. This is what I looked like. And I'm going to say, I've been on media appearances, I've been on a magazine cover, and those were all great moments. But when I think about the time in my life when I am most proud, this is what I looked like. This is what I looked like in the time in my life I am most proud of myself. And I think that's something we all need to consider, is that this is what success looks like. And so I want to just kind of lead with that. I was going to leave that for later, but let's leave the obvious thing. That is what success looks like. Shame and judgment of ourselves are such a barrier to our own weight loss success. I hadn't appreciated how much I overcame to get to this point. But now that I look back on it and think about this more systematically, I see that it's probably a fundamental barrier for so many of us in weight loss. And I want to give an example. So, marketers, okay? The weight loss industry and what marketers are taught in terms of how to sell weight loss products is to get the reader, to get all of us to wallow in that pain point. And it's typically in that pain point of shame, that your pants don't fit, all of those things. And that's what gets you to buy. And that is one of the most powerful ways to get us to buy things. But there is no long-term good, no long-term life change that can ever come for any of us when it starts from that starting place of shame. And so just at its outset, as marketers sell us stuff from that point of view, we're already set up not to succeed. And so if we can recognize that and recognize that part of the spirit, part of the goal here at Eat Like a Bear is to capture people with a message of hope, with a message of acceptance of yourself, of appreciating that you are, that before picture, that's you, that's the person doing it. That's it. And that's wonderful. And you're wonderful where you are. And we just want to get some pounds off so we can go off and live vibrantly. Our focus is on that vibrant life in the future. And it's not what we're going to look like. Not at all. Who even really cares what we look like now, what we're going to look like in a year from now, 2 years from now, 5 years from now, as long as we're living our most vibrant life. And so you'll see so much of the message here at Eat Like a Bear is about that positive, forward-looking view of your life. Because I highly recognize that these messages that are negative, that hit these like deep pain points, are not the way to start and are not the way to get us to the finish line. And so that in itself, we're kind of accustomed over all these decades to like starting these diets from this place of shame. And that in itself has set us up. It's set us up. And it is a distinct separating factor here at Eat Like a Bear. Just to give you an example, I've had like marketing consultants look at my marketing message and say, you could sell a lot more books. You just need to like take the reader down that like painful path. I'm like, we have enough pain. And it's evident that, we don't have to talk about all that. There's enough out there already. We all know it to be true. How can we instead give people a positive, amazing vision of their future, their positive future? And so shame is a big barrier for long-term weight loss success. I feel like if we say that enough and we recognize it and we really work to combat it individually, that is going to just set us up for just so much more success. And so I wanted to ask, take a little break from my story here, because we have some amazing people here backstage with us and some ideas about how to combat shame. But I'll tell you, So back in 2017, there was no Eat Like a Bear because that was pre-Eat Like a Bear. That was just me in my own head for the most part. And this works, by the way. And it's kind of easy. I basically ignored it. Like I just shut it all off, like all those things. And I stayed so focused on just like, I'm just going to keep making the decisions that are leading to my weight loss, period. I'm not going to get caught up in all the little nagging things and all the concerns about like what people are thinking about me or any of that. I just like put it over there, just put it over there and get to where I need to go. That's, by the way, a super great strategy. But there are lots of ways we can we can even do better than that. And so, Ellen, what you got for us on shame?
Well, it's something I struggle with constantly, and something that helps me, and I have to constantly remind myself to do it, is I have various mantras or affirmations that I have to repeat over and over. Most of all, I am worthy. I am worthy of this. I am worthy of taking care of myself. I'm a work in progress. I jotted down a couple of them, but just so I wouldn't forget. I am a success today where I am. I know how to build evidence. I am building evidence. There's no failure. I am not a failure. I have detoured, and I know exactly how to get back on the road. And I love what you just said. It's one of mine. I'm wonderful right where I am. Right here today where I am. And let me cycle back to the most important one. I am worthy. I am worthy of this. And some days I have to just say these things over and over and over to counteract I don't need to go into any of the negative ones because we've all been there and we all know what they are. And I'm not going to give them energy by voicing them.
Very good. Very good. Brenda, how about you?
Well, I started in a place of desperation, yes, but it's never been about how I look. It's about what I can do. So I keep my mind focused on, like my goals are all doing goals. But I did gain some back, and it was almost embarrassing to admit it because I felt like I had not only failed myself, but I'd failed all those who've been watching my story. And that was shameful. But then I thought about the fact that, it's a learning experience. Everything is a learning experience. When we get a chance to, fall on our rear end, we also have a chance to get back up. So I say that everyone who gets back up and pulls back up their bootstraps is a champion. I mean, we are champions because, sure, we fell down, but we got right back up. The only time you fail is if you fall down and then refuse to get back up. But I haven't met any bears that are refusing to get back up because they all say, I'm getting back up. So that's a big deal. And then the other thing that I have gotten through this, I started out really large. And I love me in my skin now. I am happy. I got my dungarees, I got my t-shirts, I got my bear socks. I am not ashamed to go out and walk. I'm not ashamed to go to the zoo because even though I'm still bigger than most bears, I am physically able to do all these things that I couldn't before. So I feel beautiful in my own skin, even though I still have over 100 more to go. I'm heading towards bicentennial status here. But as far as shame goes, you need to not let it draw you down. You need to just tell yourself, I'm strong. I'm a bear. I'm bad. I'm going to get up and I'm going to keep going and I'm going to win this because I deserve it. And it's just who I am. I am not a loser. I'm a winner. And then just tell yourself that every single day. I'm not a loser. I'm a winner. And I'm going to win this. And you just keep going. And that's my 10 cents.
Well, Brenda, I'm so glad you didn't just get derailed by that embarrassment of gaining some pounds back. You know what? If we don't, come on, we all know how easy it is to gain pounds back. And so I don't want anyone to be embarrassed by that. In fact, it's going to be like our struggles that where we're going to learn and we're going to help each other and just, get better and better at this. And it takes, like with any kind of, studies or data or anything else, it's that variation where you learn. And so it's going to take people gaining for us to learn about how to keep it off. And so everyone needs to see themselves as just part of this community, of part of this learning environment, and let's take your story and let's use it to get better and to do better. And that's the spirit of all of this. And no one should ever feel like embarrassed about gaining weight. I mean, for goodness sakes, we've all gained so many pounds in our lives and lost and gained. And so that's just like normal. And we're just working on doing even better. Going to Jen next.
Well, I'm kind of right there in the midst of this right now because, I lost the 100 pounds pretty much January through October of last year. And then went on a 3-week cruise, which was wonderful, but, gained about 5 pounds. Then we got into Thanksgiving, Christmas. I lost my mother-in-law. We were out in Texas for a couple of weeks for that. Some illness. And, my full-time job was no longer caring for myself and my weight loss. It was everything else. And I've kind of been in that mode now for several months. And it's hard to find that focus again and be okay with it being about me and my progress again. So I'm kind of doing that this week. I'm refocusing and saying it's okay for it to be about me and what I need to do for myself. That doesn't mean I'm going to ignore everybody else, but I'm going to learn how to put myself first again and focus on what I need to do to complete my journey. Not that our journey ever really is complete, because we'll be living our lives and being adventurous and living awesomely from here on out for as long as we have. But one of the things that I, over the last few days, been focused on what I need to do again, and that things like the journaling and the affirmations and it's easy when you feel like you've not been making those positive steps to start listening to that negativity again. And so reading back through some of my affirmations that I was making back in June or July of last year helps me to say, yep, these things are still true. And I said to my husband, he's traveling this week, but I said to him yesterday, say a little prayer for me. I'm going to be focused again this week. And he goes, well, I know you've got it in you because you've done it before. And so those are the things that that we just need to acknowledge and focus on and leave the negativity and the self-doubt behind and just focus on doing what we know works. And so that's where I am right now, and I'm doing my best to let go of the shame of not making any real progress over the last 6 months or something, and focus on making progress now.
Well, and perspective too is you were treading water in those months and not drowning. And we all know how easy it would be to be up 100 in these months, I think. So there's that comparison. But good for you for like being able to like dial back in and get going again. That's wonderful. Okay, well, let's hear from Linda.
Well, before Eat Like a Bear, I've been on the emotional gaining and losing weight for my entire life. I can't remember a time that I wasn't on that roller coaster, from difficult times in my childhood. And after finding a friend who told me about Eat Like a Bear and hearing her success story, trolling for a while to see what it was like, I jumped in and was able to lose about 20 pounds I don't have 100 pounds to lose, but I was well on my way to gaining up to 100 pounds. I know I still can every day. And then things got out of my control. I was visiting family and I wasn't in charge of my individual food. Now I'm back. The biggest difference is that the shame happens, but it doesn't last anymore with Eat Like a Bear, because the group of participants, especially in the hub, hold me accountable every day so that if I do fall off, like Brenda said, I get right back up and say, this is not a lost cause. I know what to do. I know how to start again, and I don't hold that shame for days and days at a time without starting again. And there's no shame of that. Every day is a new day with new blessings and a new opportunity. That's a little bit of my story. Can't say how much Eat Like a Bear has changed my life. I have others around me that are dealing with the same problems, and they're noticing my changes, and now they're asking me what to do and how to do it.
Thank you, Linda. And just to clarify for people who just are finding us with this video, Linda mentioned the hub. And so we have project hubs in our member-funded area called the Deep Den. And so we have, a big, large Eat Like a Bear community. We have a very big group in Facebook. We have a whole host of small groups in Facebook. And we have social profiles all over across different social media. But the Deep Den is at eatlikeabearden.com, and it is a paid area. And in it, we have these daily project hubs, which are like little Zoom meetings where we get together and do things like clean our houses or crochet or whatever it is. We choose our own project, but it's like a nice little touch point that we currently have daily at the Eat Like a Bear Den. And so anyone who's a member should just be getting in those, because right now we have a low participation rate in something that I think is really, really amazing. And I've gotten my house clean. So, I mean, come on. How can you do better than getting your house clean? Okay, so Linda, we're going to have to hear your whole story sometime, and the friend who got you here, because that's what amazes me about this, is hearing like the little chains of stories and like, how did your friend find us? That kind of thing. I love that stuff.
Okay. Shame is a big topic, and I think for me, it's been the thing that keeps me isolated and introspective to a great degree. It's been my whole life. My first diet was when I was 9, and I'm now 72. So you can imagine how many day ones I've had. This whole thing has a lot to do with being not wanting to be fully engaged with life, and that there's some sort of mechanism that keeps us from feeling that. And I think that's shame. In one way or another.
Marie, in your personal circumstances, are you able today to get outside and go for a walk?
Yeah, I can. But like right now, I feel like isolating because I've been off track for the last, I've been off so much that I'm having a hard time believing I can be not off. So I kind of need to regroup and get myself together. But maybe that's what I should do, is get outside.
Well, so I think at the end of this, we're gonna do a community affirmation, and Marie, you're going outside, and you can just keep repeating it and get out and get a little fresh air. I'll tell you what, that's there's some famous quote about that. Like if you're having a down day, get out and walk, and then if you're grumpy or something like that, get out and walk, and then after you walk, if you're still grumpy, walk again. So I think Virginia was next.
So yeah, hi. Happy anniversary, Amanda. I'd like to say that first and foremost. Shame is something that I think most of us carry with us all the time to a certain degree. For me, it's been the concept of being successful with Eat Like a Bear and then making choices that in the end derailed me and made me not successful with Eat Like a Bear for a year. And those were all my choices. I made those knowing probably that in the back, I guess, at a certain point, I guess I thought, I might have this thing licked and I can just eat like this once a day, and making choices that didn't fall in the range of what I had done to lose 50 pounds, making those kind of choices and watching my weight creep up, and not feeling like I had any control over it. What I found, I also would isolate more. Like I would just, I would just stop going to the Facebook page and posting things. I would just stop watching videos on YouTube. I would just, isolate more and more, and knowing that that isolation was detrimental to me getting out of that shame cycle and being able to go back to what I had, which was evidence that I could do this. I've joined many paid weight loss groups in my life. We can just, name them all off. I'm just grateful you don't send me little packets of powdered food. But to me, the cost of being here in the den is it's priceless, to be honest. And the den and this smaller group is really what allowed me to just kind of like to say it out loud where I was and what my journey had been to this point, and to start again on day one, as we say. And so the den has really helped me to stop that isolation. And even sometimes when I may not necessarily feel it, like I want to be here today or whatever, I come as often as I can, because to me, just having that little connection makes all the difference. The other part of shame for me that works really well is I've done a lot of work around manifesting and affirmations, and was even part of a book that someone wrote telling my story about how I manifested my husband. And it's kind of comical, but there were things that I had written in my journal about what I wanted my life to be like really visualizing it. And so one of the things that I do now is I use recordings. You can find millions of them, but some are self-hypnosis and some are just affirmations around actually specifically eating one meal a day. There are those out there. They're rare, but they're out there. And so I just find that it helps rewire my brain. And that's part of, I think, what I need is that rewiring to calm all of that shame and all of that angst. Some days I still have that angst hanging there. But when I'm on this path and when I eat this way, a lot of it just kind of fades away into the background and just melts away magically. And that was one of the things that really has kept me here, is that feeling of, I know if I do this the way that it's supposed to be done, or the way that, it's outlined for me, a lot of that chatter goes away, and a lot of that is just magical. I don't know. I mean, I think it's science and what goes on in our bodies, but it's kind of magical. I mean, it really is like a magical thing. And in the beginning, when I was losing weight regularly, I'm a slow loser, but it was kind of a regular weight loss thing. I would go to sleep at night and I would say to myself, I'm losing weight and feeling great. And then I would imagine my feet on a scale, and I would just say that number wherever I was. And then I would just kind of progressively go down. I would say it again, and then I would take the next number down. And so I was actively visualizing my weight loss every night. Like many of you, I've kind of gone back to what I did in the beginning that helped me, making a list of the things I need to do today and getting those things done, and coming here to the hub and doing some more visualization and listening to these recordings that I listen to. I think that it's going to be constant. And for the rest of my life, this life that we're leading, if it helps remove any of the shame and the constant chatter in my head, then I'm going to keep doing it, because I have evidence that it does that. And I have evidence that this works. And it isn't really about what I look like or even the number on the scale so much as that, like what's in my head. I appreciate you, Amanda. Thank you.
Thank you, Virginia. Charisma, what you got for us?
Good morning. I started journaling, and because I got frustrated one day with that last first day, and I decided there's no such thing. And I started journaling and joining here more often, which is a great support, and praying a lot harder. That gets me through the days, the weeks, the months. That's really it. A lot of self-reflection.
Good. Thank you, Charisma. Jackie Pick, what you got for us this morning?
I got lots of shame. So I've been a sort of a member of ELAB for a couple of years, and I never really got off the ground. And as of April 1st, I set a very realistic, maybe a realistic goal for me, for a short-term goal. I have been so energized by this goal that every single time that I think I'm going to falter, I think about that goal, and it just spurs me on. It's like incredible. The topic is shame. I am a very large woman and I have a lot of things wrong with my body. I have the venous insufficiency on my lower leg. My lower legs are quite reddish brown. I haven't done this in years now. Whenever I go out in public, people stare at my legs. And some of them are so bold as to come up and ask me about them. And it's very embarrassing for me. I also have a lot of fat on my legs, and I have varicose veins. And I have not been swimming in decades. Decades. I signed up last fall to go on a family reunion cruise with my 3 brothers and all of their family members that could come. And I am not a cruise person. I've never been on a cruise. I never wanted to go on a cruise, but I'm going on this cruise. And my short-term goal is related to the cruise. I want to lose some weight before I go on this cruise. And I'm leaving on June 10th to do this. I don't have a bathing suit, but we're going to the Bahamas. A large part of this cruise is going to be about swimming. I am very ashamed of going out, displaying my body in a bathing suit. And I got to say, this hub has really helped me with a lot of that. Teresa in particular, who's going to speak, I think, next, but I'm not sure. She explained what her bathing suit is. I tried to get something like that, and it came back. I ordered it online and it came back too small here, too big there. But just a short while before I got on this hub today, I did order another bathing suit. And it is going to be the capri bottoms and it's going to be a short sleeve affair on the top. So I am continually grappling with the shame I hold for displaying my body in public because I don't want the comments. And I have one brother who is kind of a jerk, and he will blurt out things, and he's already decreed that the people on this cruise, in our group, shall not be wearing Speedos or thongs, because anybody over the age of 55 should not be allowed to do that. And there is something in me that just wants to do that. But I think he might die of a heart attack if I did.
Okay.
So,
Jackie, if this cruise has given you that fire to get this daily implementation down, what I really encourage you to start thinking about is so with that swimming goal, which is amazing, and swimming is such an amazing activity. It's just truly an amazing activity. So as you are in this really great consistency and you got it going, you're in the groove. And I want you to already be thinking about how you're going to go through that cruise and crush it and then keep going. Because a lot of times with these event deadlines, that then people just sort of let up and then end up 6 months, 12 months later. But you really can stay very consistent. You can stay consistent through that cruise, keep your head in the game and then just come out of that cruise and just keep crushing it. I would really encourage you to do that because that's where you're going to end up with those daily habits and you're going to end up where you want to be. And losing the weight is going to make so much difference for your legs. I mean, so I don't know about the condition, but I do know it will just drastically help your circulation, and so you're going to have major changes from that. And if it took the cruise to get you there, then that's really
it's
great.
only a tool that I'm using to get me there. And I do have a big goal. My big goal is freedom. On April 8th, 2024, the day of the total eclipse, I'm going to be on the top of a hill, and I'm going to be twirling around with my arms outstretched, and I'm going to be talking about freedom, because freedom from all of the restrictions and everything that we put ourselves through from being overweight. I'm going to be free on that day.
Wonderful. That is so exciting. Okay. Okay, Jackie. Awesome. Thank you for the update. And Teresa, what you got for us this morning?
Well, I'm just really glad that Jackie said that I was able to help, because I do love going to the pool, but I wear my swim capris and my long sleeve rash guard because I'm more comfortable that way. And I've been doing that now, since before Eat Like a Bear, but I will admit that I stopped going to the pool when I, wasn't working on myself. But since I started eating like a bear, you get that evidence that things are working and you feel like you can do more things and be more active. And so I've been back in the pool. And if it wasn't the middle of the day, I'd have on my pool clothes right now because I'd be getting ready to go, which I'll do after work today. But I also feel like I'm the queen of starting over, and I'm not the only one. But I have shame that I can't, that I didn't, I'm a smart person. I know this works. I have the evidence, which is a big word that Amanda's used, and I just love that. There's evidence that this works because I started when I found her randomly on Facebook in 2020, and I lost 55 pounds in 5 months. And about 10 pounds a month is what I think is pretty darn good, honestly. And but then there were holidays, and I didn't do holidays very well my first year. And then my mom got sick and she had to live with me for a month, and I didn't do that very well. And so that is when I had to then, get back on track. And I did. And then I had a big work thing that I've been talking a little bit about in the hubs and on the den that derailed me last year. And so I feel like, again, I'm a smart person. I know this works. Why can't I just stick with it and not completely derail? And I have a glimmer of hope because last night I was working on another big work thing and I really wanted to just eat stuff. And I didn't, because I knew if I started down that road, it would be another, for me, I didn't realize I was such an all or nothing person, but it wouldn't be just one evening while I was trying to get this work project done. I would use that as an excuse to, well, I already did that. I might as well look and see what I have in the freezer that I could eat. And it would be, 2 days, 2 weeks, 2 months. And I didn't want to go there. I'm kind of tired of this whole thing where I'm not done yet. I want to, do it like Amanda did it and just have jumped in, grind all this off and be done. Well, I've put that behind me. I didn't do that, but I'm getting there. I'm back on track after this last maybe deviation, right? And it feels really good. And again, it's because once you get started, and I'm a big believer in do the 3-day challenge if you're just finding this. If you think you can't do this, try it for 3 days and see how it goes. And then do 3 more days. And then look, you've done a week and you've got evidence being built that it works. And then it's really hard to not do it. I got on the scale on Sunday because we're doing these little weigh-ins and my weight didn't change. And I've been doing exactly what I should do. And I could get mad and say, well, this isn't working and I'm going to go do something else. What else am I going to do? Nothing else has given me these results. It just doesn't move the scale always as fast as you want it to. And when I think about shame, it's funny because I remember when my daughter was young and she was in kindergarten, I said, I need to lose this weight because I don't want to be the fat mom. I don't want to be the fattest mom in the room. And then at one point I remember saying, well, I'll lose all this weight before my daughter is a teenager. And then I won't be, the fat mom of the teenager. Well, I will tell you that my daughter is 25. And so there's a lot of years I haven't got it done, but I'm getting it done now. And I probably will be done by the eclipse next year. If not, I'll be really, really close. So that's all I got.
All right. That's awesome. How you doing today, Georgia?
I'm doing good. As far as shame, of course, I've always had that shame growing up because I always seemed like I was the bigger kid, the fat kid, the one that everybody picked on. So I always had that shame that kind of pulled me back. When I joined Eat Like a Bear, I came in like a lion, and I had Amanda lit a fire in me that I didn't know existed. And in 6 months, I held the record for a little while, but in 6 months, I had lost 100 pounds. In another 2 months, I lost an additional 25 pounds. So in 8 months, 125 pounds. When we were going to have our Century Bear celebration in Florida, I didn't want to go because I had gained weight back. And I was so ashamed that I didn't want Amanda to see me. I didn't want to go there. And she brought it to us that said, if you can't be around the people that you know have been there, who can you be around? So I went, and I was so glad I did, because I wasn't the only one that had put on a little weight. And so knowing that, I just felt hypocritical because I'm going in, making posts, oh, this is what you need to do. But yet I was ashamed that I wasn't practicing what I preached. And so I had the shame for that. And I'm doing a lot better. I'm getting there. And it's one step at a time. It's like if you have a bad day, you have to get back up. It's one day. It's not the rest of your life. If you mess up, you make that choice. I made some bad choices last night. I put it in my post this morning. I made some bad choices. I can change that. And I changed that by being in the group, being engaged, and being a part of my people that know exactly what that feels like to do. And I said, shake it off and let it go. And that's what I try to do. And that's how I make mine work.
Very good, Georgia. And funny thing, I don't even remember thinking like Georgia gained weight. Like, I saw you in Orlando. I just remember like, oh, Georgia! Somewhere we have a video because I think someone got it on their iPhone or something of all of us hugging and stuff like that. Yeah. So anyway, that was so great. It's so great to see people in person, and exciting that we're going to have this in person on April 8th or the week before, April 8th, 2024 in the Ozarks of Arkansas, which is where I will be for the eclipse and which is like the headquarters of Eat Like a Bear for the eclipse. And any of you just finding us now, if you hear all these references to April 8th, it's because we have set a community-wide deadline for our big goal. What will we be doing in a year from now, outliving our most vibrant life? For the first time in these 5 years at Eat Like a Bear, we have a common date for that big goal, and it's April 8th of 2024. And so we're all looking forward to that meetup. But more important, I think, than the actual meetup is how we're going to just crush it in the days leading up to it, and, outliving our most vibrant life wherever we end up on that day, April 8th. So that's what I'm looking forward to. Let me just ask, we've been talking about affirmations, and I'd like to leave Marie with an affirmation. I should have taken notes on the different affirmation ideas. So we are worthy was Ellen's main one. Are there any key affirmations that any of you use, just real quick? Because we're going to get one and then we're going to all say it together. Anyone have one real quick?
I am strong.
I am strong. Yeah.
If the problem isn't hunger, the solution isn't food. It's a long one, but I use it a lot.
Yeah. Ellen?
I like the one that you said, I am wonderful where I am.
Yeah, I am wonderful where I am. Marie, which of those would touch your heart most today? But which of those speaks to you most personally?
Actually, none of those really.
Okay. Okay, so can you think of one that would?
I don't know.
I'm going to kick butt and take names. How's that, since that's the title of our podcast? Are you a butt kicker, Marie?
No, I tend not to be. I'm a little more low-key than that. You might be able to tell.
I think you need to turn yourself into a butt kicker, Marie. Look at this. I haven't shown you. See, I came dressed. I came dressed for this.
Giddy up.
So yeah, Marie. I think maybe you need to embrace that. I think you got it in you. I think you got the butt kick inside there in you.
Well, I've had plenty of butt kicking moments in my life. It's just that lately I haven't, been able to access them. You get a little quieter with age,
But maybe you should. Maybe you
Yeah,
should.
and for me, I think I have to claim those things. So that's part of the whole affirmation process. So, I say I am fierce, even if I'm not feeling it.
What about I am a success in progress?
I am a
Because that's
success.
more like it.
I am a success in
Yeah.
progress.
Yeah, that works. Once you actually think that you are starting, once you believe that you're starting on the right track, then it's sort of a self-fulfilling prophecy. But it's getting there that seems to be the difficult point when you've had so many starts and that didn't pan out, So, but right now I'm thinking, why am I so weak? That's where my shame point is right now, is that I feel like I have tried this so many times and I know I'm a very capable and intelligent person. I can't beat this thing. I mean, I kind of feel that way.
I bet you've done other things that were really hard. I bet you've done lots of
I've
things
done
that were
a
really
ton of
hard.
things that I've had a tough life. Yeah.
Yes. And you can do this one too. It just hasn't happened yet, except it's in progress.
Yeah.
You're in
Okay.
the right place.
I am worthy of love, and I am also worthy of loving myself. It is not selfish.
That's another good one.
I really like what Ellen said about, you've done hard things before. That's, evidence that you can do other hard things, this included.
I have one.
Go ahead.
Never give up.
Anna left you a nice comment in the comments.
She says, Marie, you are strong, not weak. You are still here after everything. Give yourself a hug and a pat. You are amazing, even if you don't think so sometimes. So you are amazing, Marie. I'm going to ask that Marie get out and walk today. And so you take those words, I am amazing, and I want you to just walk and say, I am amazing. Told us here a bit about your background, though I think we're all curious to learn a lot more. You are amazing. All you guys are amazing. You know that. So let's all just say together, I am amazing. How are we going to do this on cue? Because we're all on lags. It's going to be a mess. That's okay. 3, 2, 1. I am amazing. I am amazing.
See, that wasn't terrible, and it wasn't supposed to be perfect anyway, like Jackie said.
That's right. That's right. And so, Marie, you're going out today and you're walking and you're saying, I am amazing. Because you are taking the sights, the sounds, taking the fresh air. It is probably a beautiful spring day in New York.
And when you go for your walk, take us with you.
Awesome idea. Okay.
And part B, part 2, everyone needs to go out. Let's all go out today, and we're all going to say, I am amazing. I am amazing. And so everyone who watches this video, whenever it is in the future, I want you to go out today and just say, I am amazing. Walk with every step. I am amazing.